We're good. I'd like to welcome everyone to the March 25th, 2019 meeting of the Delaware County Board of Commissioners. If you would please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Commissioner Lewis is not with us today. I'm Jeff Benton, Vice President of the Board. To my right is fellow Commissioner Gary Merrill, our Administrator Michael Fromer, and our clerk today is Jennifer Walraven. So we can begin.
Resolution number 19-259 in the matter of approving the electronic record of proceedings from regular meeting held March 21st, 2019.
So moved.
Second, discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 19-259. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
We did not have any public comment today, so that brings us to item number 3, resolution number 19-260, in the matter of approving purchase orders and now certificates and payments of warrants in batch number CM-APR 0322 and memo transfers in batch number MT-APR 0322.
So moved.
Second, discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 19-260. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 19-261 in the matter of approving travel expense request.
So moved.
Second, discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 19-261. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 19-262 in the matter of establishing a new organizational key, supplemental appropriations, and transfer of funds for the Sheriff's Office.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
Hi, good morning. It's Kevin Savage with the Sheriff's Office. Be more than happy to answer any questions that you have in regards to this or the second resolution that we have.
Just the history and why we're doing a supplemental. I think I know the answer, but I just want to make sure I'm...
Supplemental one's just another reward that the Drug Task Force received. So it offsets our original grant, and they just rewarded us with another one. Just that the state went ahead and did that, so we accepted that.
Have we been getting these for a while?
The supplemental, this is our second or third one that we've received. Of course, our main grant we've received for years.
What does LEAP stand for?
Law Enforcement Against Pushers.
There we go.
Yeah, it's the old term for our Drug Task Force.
Yeah. I knew it was something appropriate. So I didn't have any other questions. Okay, vote.
Vote on motion 19-262. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 19-263 in the matter of establishing a new organizational key and supplemental appropriations for the Sheriff's Office.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
Again, this is just another reorganization of the monies that we have for our accounts.
What is the equitable sharing program?
Equitable sharing is from the federal government. It's federally seized money.
Okay, and they allocate it to the various law
That's
enforcement.
correct. So it's either
organizations.
Department of Justice or the Treasury, and it's through our partnership through drug seizures.
Okay. All right, vote.
Vote on motion 19-263. Mrs. Lewis is absent still, sorry. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 19-264 in the matter of declaring county personal property not needed for public use and authorizing the sale of personal property to Deputy Sergeant Robert S. Spring on the occasion of his retirement.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Yeah.
Sergeant Spring, as you probably everybody here knows, Sergeant Spring. He's been here for 25 years. I will answer any questions you have about this resolution. He's been a wonderful person to work with. Loved working for him and being his supervisor. So, do you have any questions about this type of resolution?
When I started reading it, I was concerned about what I built. It is
Sure.
addressed in the last paragraph. But
Yeah, and we take care of all that. It's very similar to when we have a canine that retires. Sometimes police officers and deputies get attached to their gun that they've carried for 25 years also. So we don't really like to give that to somebody else.
Okay. No other questions? Vote.
Vote on motion 19-264. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Resolution number 19-265, in the matter of approving a memorandum of understanding between the Delaware County Board of Commissioners for and on behalf of the Delaware County Jail and Recovery and Prevention Resources of Delaware and Morrow Counties Incorporated for recovery and prevention resources.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
Good morning. My name is Cassie Neff. I'm the Criminal Justice Program Manager for the Delaware County Sheriff's Office, and I'm also our County Stepping Up Coordinator. So this is a strategy in support of our Stepping Up initiative, which seeks to reduce the number of people with mental health issues and also substance abuse issues out of incarceration and onto a path of recovery. So a little over a year ago, in partnership with our Delaware Morrow Mental Health Recovery Service Board, we wanted to enhance the existing jail programs. This MOU you have before you is what had been existing for a couple of years, and it provides clinical services, so treatment, drug and alcohol, but what we were lacking was reentry planning. So through a grant with our local mental health board, we received funds that provide an employee, it's a case manager from Southeast, which is a community-based provider, and also an in-reach specialist. So now we have a team of individuals in addition to this clinical treatment that you have here before you this morning, and we're yielding wonderful results. So last year, inmates that participated in this program, we call it LINC, Lives in Need of Connection, so that's LINC, were 30% less likely to return to jail, and they are engaging in treatment for up to 60 days. So what we're doing is working. It's very exciting, and thank you for your consideration.
Okay, was this budgeted?
Yes.
Okay, okay. And it sounds, I was going to ask about the history, but you did a nice job of explaining that, so. Any other questions? Okay, we'll take a vote.
Vote on motion 19-265. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye. Thanks, Kathy.
Resolution number 19-266, in the matter of approving Title 4D contracts between the Delaware County Child Support Enforcement Agency and the Delaware County Prosecutor's Office, the Delaware County Domestic Court, the Delaware County Sheriff's Office, and the Delaware County Juvenile Court.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
Good morning, Joyce Bones, Director of Child Support. Here this morning to seek your approval on 4 contracts with our county partners, the Prosecutor's Office, Domestic Court, Juvenile, and the Sheriff's Department. And these contracts are necessary for us to draw down 66% federal participation reimbursement.
What's the history been on this program? I know it's been around for a while.
It's been here since I started 23 years ago.
Okay. There's a little while.
But it's just to, in order for the county to draw down the funding so that we can have magistrates, dedicated deputies, specifically for child support cases.
Okay. Okay, vote.
Vote on motion 19-266. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joyce.
Resolution number 19-267, in the matter of declaring public purpose and authorizing the use of Delaware County funds for the purchase of coffee, meals, and refreshments and other amenities.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bob Anderson, Director of Job and Family Services. There are 2 requests as part of this resolution. The first one are for meals that we would provide for our meetings of independent living. These are children in our care, ages 16 until 18, and we're just preparing them kind of once they emancipate, and we bring them on Saturdays. So this allows us to purchase snacks or meals while they're going through their training on Saturdays. The second one is for workforce meetings. We inadvertently left both of these off our previous resolution for expending public dollars.
Okay. All right, vote.
Vote on motion 19-267. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 19-268, in the matter of the Delaware County Board of Commissioners certifying that revisions to the Prevention, Retention, and Contingency Plan for the Department of Job and Family Services Public Assistance Program compliant with chapters 5108 of the revised code.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
Okay, substitute House Bill 541 allowed for the kinship caregiver funds to be placed as part of each county's PRC, or Prevention, Retention, Contingency Plan. These funds will be used to assist with child care for anyone that has a kinship placement. They do not necessarily have to be legal custody or within our custody. It's just offsetting costs so people can receive training and work. These funds were actually budgeted previously. The restrictions prevented counties from expending the funding. So this is kind of loosening up those restrictions and then allowing each county to put it in to meet their own needs.
So this is merely the adoption of the
Right, it's going to
requirements for this
insert that
program.
into our current plan that was adopted in October of 17. So it's just adding another service within the plan. And then, I'm sorry, and then the state is actually going to give us the allocations hopefully by Wednesday, and then we'll ask for a supplement to appropriations once we know our final budget to put into that line for our PRC funding.
Okay. All right, vote.
Vote on motion 19-268. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
Resolution number 19-269, in the matter of authorizing an amendment to the use of a procurement card for the Regional Sewer District.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
Morning, Commissioners. Tiffany Mag, Director of Environmental Services. This resolution is simply increasing the limits for the P card for one of our administrative staff members in our office.
Okay. Vote.
Vote on motion 19-269. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 19-270, in the matter of declaring the necessity of improvements for the project known as the 2019 Delaware County Road Improvement Program, resurfacing of various county and township roadways, and approving plans, specifications, estimates, and setting the bid date.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
Good morning, Chris Boserman, County Engineer. Every year we put together a contract that we bid our road treatment, resurfacing, preventative maintenance activities, pavement striping, and pavement repairs all into one contract and invite our township partners to join in that contract, and we're doing that again this year. The county's portion of the project is about 34.5 miles of total treatment between resurfacing and preventative maintenance, and then that amounts to about $3.3 million of cost for the county, and then the township involvement is another $3.479 million. And then on top of that, there are projects that the county and the township would have received OPWC funding for. We cannot award those contracts until after July 1st, when the bonds are sold to support that at the state level. And so we bid that as an alternative set aside and won't award those until after the date. If we award those before that date, then the grants are voided. So that OPWC amount is $1.17 million. So I'd be glad to answer any questions. This is a program that gives us the ability to again, share in the bidding process, and by combining all this, we get the value of having a large program and get what I think are the best prices that we could possibly get, both for us and for the townships.
Mm-hmm. We've done this for a long time, haven't we?
Yeah, I can't remember when we didn't do it, Jeff.
Yeah, yeah. How does this compare to 2018?
As far as the
dollars.
The dollar amount, this is about, I think it's about $800,000 more than what we did last year.
So quite a bit more.
We were really heavy in the contract amounts for our capital projects. We actually trimmed this program back last year. I'll get that exact number for you, but my recollection is we were about $800,000 less. We didn't like cutting it back to where it was, but we had some pretty big projects last year, like Old State going on that we needed to invest in.
Okay. All right, we'll take a vote.
Vote on motion 19-270. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Thank you.
Hey, Chris, while we got you.
Yeah.
Can you, we were just talking about the gas tax and the three very different versions of the House, Senate, and Governor's proposals. We looked at, I think it was Lee Bodnar that sent out was it a Township Association calculation of the, I don't know if you've seen that spreadsheet or not, that lists the three different.
Lee actually sent it to me also, and then Mike forwarded it to me also over the weekend. Yeah.
So, first of all, do you think it's accurate? Because we were kind of scratching our heads.
I'm still trying to reconcile that.
Okay.
I didn't spend a lot of time with it over the weekend.
Okay.
But in looking through it, something didn't seem right to me. So I'm expecting a similar document from our County Engineers Association shortly.
Okay.
And so I'll pass that along and let you know whether jives with that or not.
Okay, so we just need to study it some more.
Yeah, I don't know, the numbers didn't seem, something didn't seem right.
Yeah, because I think the city of Delaware, under the governor's proposal, got $2 million a year, and the townships were getting 200,000, 300,000, 400,000. The big townships, which are actually as big, or nearly as big as the city of Delaware. So again, I had those same kind of questions that
Yeah.
wasn't sure.
so
Okay, well, don't want to speculate then. We'll take some more time to learn about
You
it.
didn't ask, but I'll share with you anyway. I think I was disappointed in what the Senate did with that. And, 6 cents doesn't even cover what we've lost to inflation since the last gas tax increase. So it was kind of disheartening that all of our efforts to make a case for the actual need went unnoticed.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see because the transportation budget is moving rapidly to a conclusion.
Which it has to, as I understand. yeah.
Right,
April 1st, I believe, isn't it?
Right.
yeah. And so the conference committee is going to work on it this week.
That'll be interesting to see what they do with it, yeah.
Yep. Okay,
All right, thank you very
all right,
much.
thank you.
Resolution number 19-271, in the matter of approving an agreement between the Delaware County Board of Commissioners and Maximus Consulting Services Incorporated for a cost allocation plan.
So moved.
Second, discussion?
Morning, Commissioners. Brad Lutz, Director of Business Operations. I am not talking into the mic. I thought it was interesting. Both of you came up to me with the exact same question independently. So I quickly did some research on this particular point and regarding this contract and whether this is something that we could do in-house potentially, / what are the requirements at the state level. So in short, the federal government does require that a cost allocation plan be done if we're going to allocate county costs to JFS programs, which we do in this county. I believe that the amount that we will be billing JFS in this year's between all the programs is roughly $210,000, if I remember correctly, somewhere in that range. Is that? $30,000 a month. Okay, so more than that. So maybe I was taking that credit into account or something, but anyway. So obviously a very significant amount of money is allocated to the JFS programs that comes back to the county as a result of doing this program. The federal government does require that the state certify any program that is a cost allocation program that is done by a county, and it is possible, I will admit, after looking it up, for a county to do it on its own. I did find a 100-page PowerPoint, which obviously doesn't even go into the level of detail, that would be required for a county to do their own program. But in the end, the reason we choose Maximus to do this plan is because they are obviously certified by the state to do the program. They have all the tools and information in place, and of course the relationships and information from our county auditor to do it for what I consider a relatively low cost in terms of the return on investment. The other thing that we did get from Maximus this year, I need to have further discussion with our EMA director about, is the possibility of utilizing part of this plan to charge back to the state costs incurred by the county towards EMA programs as well. As you may be aware, the programs in EMA generally are 50-50 split, 50% is paid by the county, 50% by the EMA grants. Obviously, I have no idea if we are fully utilizing all the money from the state, but if there's some money occasionally that's left on the table, we may be able to utilize this program to charge that back as well, and that'd be another $20,000. So definitely, quote unquote, a good return on investment for this program.
Are there other offices or departments that could possibly have costs that could be allocated back to their grant source?
Yeah, so one nice thing that Maximus does is they provide a number of invoices / letters pre-done for us to charge to different departments. So once again, JFS, that's handled. EMA was a letter. We could charge back to CDBG, although it's a very small amount, and obviously you might prefer to save that money to be utilized in the programs that you're awarding to. I'm not aware of any other federal programs or other programs that could utilize this, but obviously this is something that Maximus stays on top of and informs us of when there's an opportunity to do so. Going back to EMA, for example, I'm not aware of this being done. In my previous job, I didn't see a letter from Maximus, and we used this exact same company. So this may be something where Maximus has come around to realize this is possible, and that's why we can move forward with it potentially.
Okay.
My only comment is, if Maximus is in this business, then they may well be aware of other dollars that can be allocated that we may not be aware of. We ought to, being good stewards of taxpayers' money, we ought to look into that.
pick
And
their
number
brain.
two, it's kind of funny that we both asked the same question.
You
but
asked the exact
we
same
are,
question.
well, but it is a responsibility to make sure we're spending money. And on the surface, it did seem to be something we theoretically could have maybe done internally, so that was the reason for the question.
Yeah, and definitely, you are correct that theoretically we could. It would just require a significant amount of work to get get certified by the state to do it.
Commissioners, I believe that our Child Support Enforcement Agency also pays rent and based on this program.
So their costs are allocated as well?
Yes.
They participate in that?
And I apologize. I came from a quad combined agency, so when I say JFS, my brain is automatically including child support. I haven't quite got used to that lexicon here,
didn't
so.
Pick away, it was under JFS?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So, yes, thank you very much for bringing that up.
Good
Yes,
point.
child support's included.
Okay. Vote?
Vote on motion 19-271. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 19-272, resolution of necessity for purchase of motor vehicle for the use of Delaware County Emergency Medical Services Department.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. This resolution is an effort to keep our EMS fleet up to date. I'm happy to report to you that this is a budgeted item, and we're coming in considerably less than any other ambulance purchase, probably in the history of the department. Really excited for that. Rather than purchasing a vehicle outright, this is a remount of a current ambulance that we have, where the patient compartment is actually removed from the back of our current ambulance and placed on a new chassis. In that process, the vehicle is completely repainted, all of the interiors I don't want to say rebuilt, but reupholstered, the cabinets are replaced, all the electrical wiring is replaced as well. So essentially what we're doing is using the superstructure of our current ambulance and mounting it on a new chassis. So it comes in considerably less in the overall budget, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have, and I would like your approval on this measure.
I assume mechanically the ambulance is sound, are you?
Yes, sir. It's this will be a 2019 Ford E450 Econoline series.
But
So
new
it's
new
brand
motor?
Brand new everything.
Okay.
Yeah. It rolls off the line. They set it aside for our county, knowing we were going to move in this direction. And yeah, everything is essentially brand new.
Okay.
The only thing that would be original would be the superstructure of the patient care module that sits on the, we call it the box, that sits on the back of the ambulance itself. And it's essentially new. It's sandblasted, reprimed, and repainted and everything. We're really excited for this one.
Now, you are Chief Schuling, correct?
I am Chief Schuling, Delaware County EMS. I
Okay, 'cause
apologize.
you didn't identify.
I'm so excited for this, see?
Yeah, why now? I mean, we've bought ambulances, one or two or three every year for years. What's changed to make this feasible and practical?
That's a great question. We are finally to the point now within our fleet that we have these ambulances that were purchased 10, 15 years ago, and they are a different structure than some of the other ambulances we purchased. Bottom line, they're just built better. So in the past, the ambulance is not to be a disposable unit, but they just were not valued the same way they are in today's market. They're much stronger built. They are much safer than what they used to be. If you see the ambulance crashes 20 years ago, the patient care module, they would come apart. The Horton ambulances and the Braun ambulances that we've been purchasing have different testing studies done on them, so they're built much better. So we can get a lot more longevity out of them. I am told that some of the Horton ambulances can actually go up to 3 re-chassis before they are, not meeting the same specifications for safety. So as those change, that limits the remounting possibilities. So we're very fortunate. One of the reasons we do buy the Horton ambulances and the Braun ambulances is they do have that longevity built into them in the way their superstructures are built.
What about future ambulance purchases then? Is this something we can replicate now?
Absolutely. In fact, we're working on a process right now to see what we can do. each remount is slightly different in cost, so there's a much greater assessment that goes into the vehicle as far as electrical wiring, what can be repurposed within the unit itself, as well as the different standards for cot mounting. You're aware that we moved to the self-loading cots. That is not necessarily just for the safety of our employees, but also for our patients as well, because the standards have changed in how they remount those cots. You'd buy a cot for $5,000 20 years ago, whereas that same system now is, the systems we buy are almost $45,000. So you can see just that in and of itself is where we're updating it to meet the safety standards set aside by the NHTSB and it's KKK standards is what it's called. Now, it sounds like a really negative connotation, but the KKK standards are what govern ambulances, how they're built. For instance, the cabinetry above the patients, the paramedics where we sit, they are not allowed to be directly above the head where the paramedic would be sitting in case of a rollover that has significant spinal compression, so they have to take that cabinet out and rebuild it. So bringing those up to the code is important, and we are now, our ambulance fleet is where we can start beginning to do that now. So we're confident that we'll be able to do more of this.
Well, I compliment you for looking at alternatives and finding a way to reliably, capably find, a replacement at significantly lower cost. So
We have a great team helping me.
good work. Commissioner Merrill, would you-
I have nothing else.
Okay, vote.
Vote on motion 19-272. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
That brings us to administrator reports.
I have nothing to report this morning.
Commissioner Merrill?
Well, I get to go first.
You do.
Well, I'll keep it short. You and I were privileged to be at the ribbon cutting / tearing down of the current junior ag building at the fair on Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. And it's an exciting time for our county as we make good use of some of the bed tax dollars that are available to us because of the support of our county voters a couple of years ago. And I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the new structure, and it's a great time for the fair because it really needs a lot of work. And
Oh,
this is
gosh.
the first step in that process. First significant step. There've been other things,
Right. More- less
bathrooms,
visible.
but things that are visible to the taxpayers who are indirectly footing the bill through the bed tax. And I think we'll see some more nice projects going
You've got a
forward.
picture there.
I have a picture, but I'm not sure it'll do much good.
Yeah, it wouldn't
but,
do much good to.
do we have this on our site, Jane? It is on the site? It's on all our social media. So opportunity to go out there and look at it, but it's going to be a huge improvement, and it'll be able to do a lot of things they're not currently able to do out there, so.
About 3 times the size of the current building.
And heated.
And year-round, and have event space for 400 or 500 people. So it'll be just a huge improvement.
And they're looking at some other things that I don't think they're ready to make public yet, but if they come to fruition, I think it's going to be great for the fairgrounds, so. It was a great morning. And it was a little cool.
Yeah, it was a little chilly, but it was fun watching that building starting to get torn down. Boy, wouldn't you like to be one of those backhoe or dozer drivers and be able to tear a building down like that?
You guys didn't get a chance to do that?
No, they wouldn't let us near those big equipment.
Did you ask?
No, I didn't even bother.
I think they just took the
Just
outside
kind
out,
of the
and
one side, yeah.
today they'll bring the building down in its entirety, or at least that's the plan, as I heard it. That's all I have.
That's it. Didn't want to talk about the NCAA?
Well, we have the same problem.
I
so
know.
we-
But I have to admit, our team has performed better than Villanova did, the defending champion. We did do better than Villanova. Sorry, Jane. Farm Bureau breakfast is Thursday morning, CCAO Taxation Finance Committee. We talked about the transportation bill. That'll be real interesting to see where that comes out. Investment Committee meeting is Thursday morning as well, regional planning Thursday. Soil and Water Conservation District's having a meet and greet with the new Ag Secretary, Dorothy Polanda, Friday at 1 o'clock. Vietnam Veterans Ceremony. So we're not having session on Thursday.
Correct.
So Vietnam Veterans Ceremony is this Friday. went to the Corsa annual meeting, Commissioner Merrill as well. There were some interesting topics that were brought forward. That Corsa is our liability and property insurance company that's a subsidiary of CCAO. They are looking at extending insurance coverage for liability, at least, maybe property protection on land bank properties as a no-cost addition, or very low cost. So we're going to have to look into that. They're talking about drone coverage, which is now applicable, and they've had some very expensive drone programs that they're going to fold in with certain restrictions and so on. So anyway, again, courses and their losses are flat, so we're not expecting any increase in the renewal, maybe even a decrease. So again,
Unless the county has new buildings or something, it might change the.
Yeah. Anyway, a lot going on at Corsa. They seem to be doing a nice job. Anything else? No need for executive session?
Nobody's told me if there is.
I'm guessing there isn't.
You don't know, but I'm guessing there isn't.
Okay. Well, with that, we are adjourned.